Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the kitchen. Today we're going to try our hand at some biscuits and gravy. I'm going to use the recipe by Ken Click off of YouTube. It's biscuits for one, but I'm going to try cooking them on the wood stove in a Dutch oven. And then we'll make our biscuits or our gravy in the cast iron on the stove. So come on along. Okay, these biscuits are pretty easy to make. There's only 3 ingredients. You've got self-rising flour, 2% milk, and salted butter. So we'll start out with the flour, and it's 3/4 of a cup of flour. Like that. And then the butter is 3 tablespoons. So we'll cut us off 3 tablespoons. The butter's got markings on the wrapper, so that makes it easy. And this is really cold butter. It's not frozen, but it's been in the fridge, so it's good and cold. Ken said he puts his flour in the refrigerator to get it cooled down, and then you just chunk up the butter. It makes it easier to incorporate it into the flour. They got to be pretty, you know. Chop them up pea size or so, 1/4 inch squares, whatever. So that ought to do it. Then you put that in your flour. Okay, and then you take your mixing device here, and you pick that flour up in that butter, and you just kind of smush it, and it flakes it out. You can use a pastry cutter if you don't want to put your hand in it, but you know, this makes it taste better if you got your fingers in it. So we'll get this all mixed up till it's just all the flaky butter in there. Doesn't take very long. But you don't want any big chunks of butter. I guess you can, but you know, you want it flattened out pretty good. You can kind of see the little flakes of butter in there. I've put my little Dutch oven on the stove. I think it's a 8 or 10 inch Dutch oven, shallow. And I've had it on the stove heating, I don't know. I've been messing around here in the kitchen, so it's probably been on there 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe. Okay, that feels pretty good. I don't feel any more big chunks in there. And then we use 2% milk. Or you can use whole milk, but his recipe called for 2%, and that's what I'm going to use. 1/3 of a cup. Yeah, I made this yesterday, day before. My milk is just about ready to turn, but they turned out great. So 1/3 of a cup of milk, and then I just use a butter knife to stir it. Just kind of mix that up till all that dry ingredients are incorporated. we need that anymore. Just kind of get it so all that dry stuff down the bottom of the bowl is picked up in it. And if I can figure it out, I'll try to put a link down in the description to his channel to, you know, so you can look at the master do it. But this is how I've done it. I've made this 4 or 5 times, so it's really pretty good. Okay, everything's out. It's a little bit sticky yet, but not bad. You know, it's all holding together good. Now we'll take just a little bit of flour, put on the counter here. And this is where you get the layers in it. So we'll pat that down, down to like 3/8 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, something like that. Give her a flip over, like that. And we'll fold that in half. Mash it down again. Fold that over again. Like that. Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to wind up with sort of a square here. So we'll mash them in there, that'll be fine. One more time, just for ignorance. Okay. Now he says he gets 2 biscuits out of this, but they're really big biscuits, so I'm going to see what we can get out of this here. So I think that's a 2-inch. Let me see if my recipe tells me what it makes. Yeah, it's 2 inches what I usually use. That's what I wrote down on my recipe when I wrote it. So we just cut that. You want to pat it out like about 3/4 of an inch. Now these are just like for biscuits and gravy. It's not like you're going to be slicing and putting jelly on them, which you can, but it ain't got to be pretty. It should be crumbled up with gravy on it. And the last little bit I just stuff back in the cutter and pack it down like that. It makes kind of a odd shaped biscuit when it all rises up. But that's it. 3 biscuits. That was a little small this time. I got that one a little thick, but that's all right. Okay, we can do a little wash up here. Okay, get her Dutch oven. She's hot. Put it on that cookie sheet so we don't burn the countertop. Get up here where we can see what we're doing. And then I'm just gonna pull the lid off of that and ungreased, and we'll just set them babies right down in there. I don't know how long it's gonna take. The recipe calls, if you cook them in the oven, to cook them at let's see, 425 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes. And I've done it when I've done them in the stove, it's gone about 12 minutes. So that's pretty good average, depending on your stove and that. Okay, and then we're gonna put them back on the top of the wood stove. Get you aimed over there at the, you can kind of see what's going on. I mean, let's see there, you can see my stove. It's just a plain old Fisher wood stove. Heats the house. We'll just set that right there on top. Turn that around so the handle's in the front. I'm going to tuck back as far as I can over the heat. I can stoke it up a little bit, so I'll do that, and then we'll check those in, and we'll give it the 10 minutes, and then we'll see how they turn out. So we'll be right back. All right, the 10-minute timer just went off, so let's see what these biscuits are looking like. Slide that out just a little bit. Look at that. Rising up good. So I'm going to check them again in 5 more minutes. All right, those biscuits look like they're coming along pretty good. We're going to go ahead and start the gravy. I think it'll work out just about right. Got my pan preheated a little bit. I'm using, I don't know, it's country sausage come in a tube like Jimmy Dean's or whatever. It's all I got right now. So we'll go ahead and break that up. I got my pan a little bit just under medium heat on my dial there. We'll just kind of break this up. So we'll get this going. Rinse off my hands. Okay, we're just going to brown these up. Pretty good. Now I season this, it's already pre-seasoned, but I add a little bit of Grill Master's Montreal steak seasoning. And I just kind of, I don't know, half teaspoon, quarter teaspoon, just where it looks good. That just brings out a little bit in the sausage. And this sausage is so lean that it doesn't give you any grease. So we're going to take a little bit of bacon grease. And that's that teaspoon. Maybe a teaspoon and a half. See how that looks. Get that melted down. Got to have a little bit of fat in the pan. It's a little hot, so we'll go ahead and turn that down. Okay, while that's browning, I'll go ahead and check them biscuits. Looking pretty good. Yeah, that's about right. You can see that oil's just covering the bottom of the pan. Turn our heat down. Medium low. This stove cooks really hot, so don't go off my setting. And then we want to put some flour in that. That's a heaping teaspoon. We'll kind of stir that around, see how that looks. We want to cover the meat and soak up that oil. Maybe just a little more. Big flour lump there, I don't think we need that. Okay, that soaked it up, coated the meat really good. Okay, look at that bowl of flour. Okay, now it's just pour in milk, 2% milk. You can use whole milk. See how it looks like about enough gravy for however you're serving. It's just me and my wife, so. I'm thinking maybe just a little more. I'm kind of hungry. About like that. And I'm going to have an egg, so I'm going to put my egg pan on to warm up a little bit. Okay. Let that sit there and cook. Check the biscuits. Slowly bring that to a boil, or until it gets thick, either one. That was just general purpose flour I put in there, didn't have anything else. Oh, you're looking good. Let me bump my heat just a little bit. Okay, took them biscuits off. They didn't brown much. Of course, they didn't have any top heat on them, but the bottoms was looking like they were getting pretty brown. So we'll just set them on the counter there and let them finish cooking. Looks like it's starting to thicken a little bit. Starting to coat the spoon. Put a little pepper on the table and a little bit of salt. Kind of keep stirring it here. Don't want to scorch that milk. Yep, it's thickening up really nice. Don't want to go too fast because that'll thicken right up and where it looks like mashed potatoes. Okay. Couple eggs here. You want an egg, baby? Okay, looks like she's just starting to bubble. Put them eggs on. Scrambled eggs. Yeah, that's coating the spoon really good now. And this will continue to thicken at the table. So we'll go just a little bit longer. Stir my eggs up here a little bit. Okay, and that was bubbling. I'm going to call that. That's good. Okay, the eggs are coming along. We'll bring you back for the tasting. All right, let's take a look at these biscuits. Didn't stick, look at that. They're not very golden brown on top, but they look like they're cooked all the way through. Good and hot. I like a little dab of butter on mine. Reach over behind here and get some gravy, if you don't mind. I've got a bigger spoon. Okay, there's the gravy. That orange juice out of the way. And then I like a little pepper on mine. So, fresh ground pepper. All right, let's give this a try. Looks good. Don't get no better than that. Not too bad for a Sunday brunch. Well, thanks everybody for hanging with me in the kitchen while we had a little fun, and we'll catch you on the next video.